Hello, it's Why We Love Horror, just regular Why We Love Horror. I'm JWMaher, and that's Aaron Brooks. I'm excited about today, but before we get to that, Aaron, how you feeling?
Good. Yeah, back for another A24 horror here, and one that wasn't on my radar till it really became on my radar a few months ago, I'd say actually. So it's been on my radar for a minute. Talking about Undertone, Ian Ian Tuison's debut here. It wants to be heard.
It does want to be heard. Yeah, Ian Tuison has my attention, as you would say, not to steal your line. Very happy that this has got him into the. I mean, I'm not thrilled he's going to be tied to Blumhouse for his next movie, but I've said that a bunch of times, and people have dodged bullets with Blumhouse. You know, looking at you, Lee Winnell, looking at you, James Watkins. Yeah,
Curry Barker.
Yeah, so maybe Blumhouse is turning a corner, and Ian Tuison's part of that turn. So I will reserve.
We'll see. But let's talk about Undertone.
Let's talk about that. So I'll take a crack at the synopsis. Evie is her mom is dying. Her mom has a terminal illness, and she is in her mom's home, and she's like caring for her. Kind of, I guess it's hospice. It feels like hospice, just because the way the nurse is talking to her. But while she's doing it, she also has a podcast of, it seems, some acclaim. Like it's one of these burgeoning kind of like paranormal podcasts. And her co-host Justin, who does not live anywhere near her, they do it kind of online, live to tape stuff. And one day he gets an email of 10 audio files to be played in order about a couple that is haunted by a demon. And this movie just deals with him listening to these 10 audio files.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of like, this is, I want to say this is a new wave of kind of horror movies. Like these are not horror movies we would have had in like the 80s, 90s, because there's a whole like subgenre now of like cursed media horror. And I'm glad we haven't like tapped this out yet. Because Undertone is not going to feel like not fresh. Like cursed media is still being done.
Yeah, no, this combines it with like the kind of like almost like instead of like post-traumatic stress, it's pre-traumatic stress here, because it's like that caretaker grief that has been explored in a lot of movies, like Levid and many others. And here it's just looking at a mother and daughter, and kind of the guilt that goes with that as you're in kind of that hopeless section of helping somebody who, you wish could go back to a way that they're never going to be, maybe. And her outlet out of that is these really, ultimately fucked up pieces of media. Like the media she's focusing on with this, these two individuals, Jessa and Mike. Jessa is the sleep talker, right?
Yeah, we kind of have like we covered Dream Eater. They're having like a full-on Dream Eater.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like
they're there. It's the couple from Dream Eater. It's on tape basically. But
yes,
but
the gender's swapped, and it's a better movie, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're listening to these tapes, and the whole and they're listening to these tapes at live, and they're like dissecting them live. And do we get the name of this podcast?
The Undertone.
The Undertone. Yeah, it is. Oh, it is called The Undertone. Okay, I couldn't.
One of the alternate titles of Undertone is, I've seen it, The Undertone, a bunch of places, and The Undertone is the title of Justin and Evie's podcast.
Okay. I didn't catch that part, but yeah. So The Undertone. Yeah, and now you mentioned, I can remember her saying that now, and thinking that I was like, that's the name of the movie. And overall, I guess. Like before, like jumping fully into spoilers, even though the spoilers is up, this movie is not only like the sound design is amazing, and I at first thought if you don't see this in the theater, you're screwed. I don't think that's necessarily the truth. I think that if you don't see this in the theater, I almost would suggest that you watch it with headphones on your laptop or on an iPad, and you get like kind of lost away in it, because I think that way could be also very, very immersive in a good way to enjoy this movie. But it's not only sounds good and the sound is immersive, but it's also shot really, really well. Only one person really is on screen for most of the movie, and you don't really notice that, and in a good way. Like they use like open spaces really uniquely, and like you get super stressed out by it. You think you're seeing things that aren't there.
Yeah, they do that. They do that trick, like kind of like it's like when in The Strangers, when the guy shows up in the background, or like kind of the bullshit they did in the new Scream movie where Ghostface appears in the background, but nothing ever appears. But
Yeah.
you are nervous as fuck that you're missing out. Like the whole movie, I was like, did I miss something? Did I miss something? I don't think I did.
Yeah, and it's 90. Yeah, it's 90 minutes, but it is slow. At the same point, because slow does not mean length of time. It is a pace, and there is a slow pace to this movie until there really isn't. Then it goes warp speed towards the end. But overall, I think this movie could be about a lot of things, and I think this one is like a very rewatchable movie for me. I'm looking forward to rewatching it. But one of my half-baked theories, very on a first watch without being able to really puzzle it together, is the name of this ghost is Abazul, I believe.
Yeah.
And Abazul ends up haunting particularly women who are pregnant. And guess what? Evie is pregnant and she's having a relapse into alcoholism. So whether Abazul is real or literal or not, it doesn't really matter here. And either scenario, if it's not supernatural, like it still kind of like exists in that way. But I think that a lot of what's going on could be Evie just kind of making up the reality, because she's trying to get away from being a caregiver for her mom and realizing she's just kind of in a hopeless spot within. She just wants it almost to be over, but you have a certain guilt to that because it's your mother. It's like, for it to be over here, she has to die. So that there's that whole guilt with that. And I think that a lot of this movie and what's going on could just kind of be her projecting that and this not really happening, including the podcast. I'm not sure if the podcast really exists. I think that could be why we don't ever see Justin. I think it's convenient. Yes, he lives in London, but also there's video calling. There's we could see him at some point. We could see somebody else. We get like calls from the doctor in the middle of the night because she has insomnia. That's convenient as well. Obviously we have like the visions of the lights going on, thinking it's the mom, but she's just so desperate to see her mom doing well. Like there's the imagery of like the backwards clock, time going backwards. There's the backwards with like the Baba black sheep and all that as well. And we can kind of go into fairy tales as well. I'm kind of throwing a lot at here, but what are your thoughts?
I would agree. I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said. It's definitely like a very good interpretation of the movie, because there's also the whole thing where clearly Evie is living a different life than her mother wants her to live. Like her mother is
she's resistant to religion.
Yeah, like the mother is clearly like a zealot. She's not. When Evie was a little girl, the mother would pray at her bedside every night, and now that she's an adult, she stopped praying at her mother's bedside. And now that her mother is like slipped into this coma, like she'll never be able to do it again. And I think the guilt consumes her to the point that she has a psychotic break. And there's lots of evidence to support that theory, that this is all just her mind trying to make sense of the fact that she's a good person.
Yes.
But she doesn't feel that way.
Right. And, like part of why, going back to the Abazul of it all, is like one of the, weaknesses for people who are like inflicted from this, demon is when they don't have a religious foundation. So it comes back to that. There's like the Virgin Mary statue that constantly keeps showing up as well there. So there's like the Catholic guilt.
It's a very weird statue because it's like Virgin Mary, or maybe it's
getting attacked.
It's maybe covered in like babies. It's like babies are climbing up.
Looked like getting devoured by those babies. Looked really scary. And there's just a whole lot there that I feel like on one watch it's it's still like you're able to come to these conclusions, and it's not overwhelming either. So I commend Ian Towson, who also wrote this movie. I think the screenplay is extremely strong, which it has to be when it's one person on screen for most of the movie, and it's still not boring. Also, Evie is a fantastic character. She does a really great job as well, and she is not boring to watch.
Yep, I would agree. I don't even have anything to add. It's just like, if you haven't seen this movie, well, you shouldn't be watching the spoiler part of it. But like, I support this movie. It's already like $500,000 budget, made like almost 10 million on its opening weekend.
Yeah,
we're watching the birth of something here. Be part of it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think, whether you see it in theaters or not, I do think there's plenty to enjoy. I recently thought if you don't see this in theaters, you're missing out. But I've calmed on that stance overnight.
Yeah, and I'll just double back to the one point you said. Like, if you've ever had the experience of putting headphones on and listening to a video that is meant to have like surround sound, like it explores that space like perfectly. You have the whole, like, she puts her headphones on, the whole like profile of the movie changes. It's done so well. Like, yeah. I'm gonna drop down spoilers and we'll get to some ratings. You can go first.
Yeah, this movie's really, really good. I think it will end up somewhere in my top 10 by the end of the year. I mostly just had an issue with Justin as a character overall. Like, he's a believer and Evie's the skeptic, but like, he's just a little too hokey and like unbelievable. Like, in his character, his voice acting he's not a good enough voice actor for the role that the role dictates. So 0.5 star knocked off for that. So 4.5 stars for me.
I would say, given your theory, it probably could be forgiven because he really is just a voice in her head in your theory.
Exactly. So, if he's not real, then yes, he is an unreal character. I agree.
This movie has unseated The Plague as my favorite movie of the year so far. So this is my current number 1, 5 stars with a bullet. I'm excited to see what's going to challenge this movie as the year goes on. But it'll be in my top 10 unless this year is like absolutely, it's just like banger after banger. I don't think it is, because given the movies we've seen in theaters, I think these bangers,
I think you're safe.
They'll be just enough, I feel.
Yes.
But that'll do it. If you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. Join the Letterboxd challenge. A lot of people are actually still people joining and liking it, so that's cool. And you have plenty of time to watch the movies in there, but we'd appreciate it if you did. Until next time, though, I'll probably do another one this week because I saw a movie that I don't think Aaron's going to see. But that's besides the point. I'm JWMaher. That's Aaron Brooks. This has been Why We Love Horror. We'll see you next time.